Hello, everyone. This is David, and this is the first episode of the X-Files that we're going to be covering, and it's called Pilot. Apt name because it's the first episode of the series. Now, this introduces us to the characters of Fox Mulder and Dana Scully and their shenanigans. Basically, Dana Scully is a young, recent recruit. She's been working for the Bureau for, I think, 2 years at the time, and being sent to basically monitor and review Fox Mulder, who's become somewhat of a rogue agent. He's not really a rogue agent per se, but like his views are not the Bureau's views, and he's been investigating all these really bizarre cases. And they basically just want someone to oversight on him that has a very clinically scientific mind and will basically counterpoint whatever Mulder finds. Um, and analyze that appropriately. And that's kind of the ongoing thing for most of the series, or the basis for it, why they're paired together for all these shenanigans. Now, the events that we're dealing with, and X Files does this very often, is there's a pre-credit sequence that kind of gives you a foreshadowing of what's going to happen. In this case, you see a girl fleeing in the woods, and there's some lights that come up. A dark figure approaches her, and then enveloped in light, and then her body is later found dead in the ground with marks on its back. This attracts the attention of Mulder, and Mulder and Scully go out to investigate this. Basically, because there have been previous deaths similar to this that have happened in this particular place, but this death is different because it has been done by a different coroner, and the report is a little different. There were some unknown substances that were found and unusual markings that were found that weren't found in the other ones. So Mulder gets a work order to basically excavate one of the graves so it can be examined to see if it's similar to the recent death of, I believe her name was Karen Swenson. They find, instead of the man's body that was supposed to be in there, they find this desiccated, tiny humanoid form. To me, it always looked like an orangutan, but it could be anything. And they found that it had um, the body looked partially mummified at the least, or at least desiccated. And they found an object lodged up in its nasal cavity. Dana suggests that it's some sort of primate, probably an orangutan of some kind, and suggests that this is some sort of sick joke. And they take out um, the device, and they can't figure out what it is. And they're talking to all the different people. They go to investigate the area where she disappeared. The sheriff's deputy chases them off. They find some strange dust on the ground. They go to this psych ward to talk to some of the other people that were related to not related to, but like from the same school. And they find the sheriff's son. I forget his name, but he's basically catatonic. And this other girl, they were in a car accident together, and she's like paralyzed below the waist, and she has a fit when they see her and starts bleeding from the nose, and that's bad. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. And one of the girls, I think it's Peggy, gets hit by a car and dies, and that's no good. And they find this other girl notifies them of things, who's the daughter of the coroner that had done all the autopsies and whatnot. And it turns out that the sheriff's son abducts her, and he is the key because he brings people to be abducted by the aliens, and the aliens do weird things with them. Well, they find this out by analyzing his feet, because under his toenails he has the same dirt that was found at the site, which is this unusual stuff. Meanwhile, while they were out, someone burned down the motel that they were staying in, took all with all the computer and all the analysis and all that stuff. But Dana still had the nasal cavity chip. So they go out to the woods, and they find them the two kids, the sheriff's son and the coroner's daughter, and they're fine, and they don't have the marks anymore. They get abducted. They lose their marks disappear, and apparently they're fine now. Um, which is interesting, and Scully writes a report on it. There was a quick incident where they lost 9 minutes, and Mulder marked the spot, and it was the same spot where they had come out later and whatnot. Um, this is an interesting episode. You see the cigarette smoking man. He never says anything. He's just sort of there. Um, it's not the best episode because really the events just kind of play out. The agents just kind of witness them. They do some research. I mean, Scully does have that implant, which she gives to the director that she was talking to. But the cigarette smoking man basically puts it in the same place where the Ark of the Covenant is stored. It's this big warehouse-looking thing that has all these different boxes, and he just pulls out one box, and there's all these other identical implants, and he just puts it in, puts the box back in, and walks out, and you see him walk past all these boxes filled with all sorts of who knows what. And as he leaves, he closes the door, and you find out it's in the Pentagon. That's how the episode kind of ends. This one is very middle of the road for me. It is important because it is the first episode. It's not a bad episode, but again, I feel like the agents didn't do a lot. It's just sort of like they were investigating things, and then things were also happening, but it was kind of beyond their control. The aliens just let the kids go for no discernible reason. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I guess they were being investigated on too heavily or something. This sort of abduction, I don't think is played up again. Although I think, actually, they come back to it and many seasons later. I forget when. I mean, I guess I'll get to it when I get to it. Suffice to say, this is a myth-arc story because it introduces the cigarette smoking man. It deals with alien abduction. It deals with, the concept of missing time, which plays up a lot into that sort of thing. The idea of missing time is not that time actually went missing, that like time stopped. The idea of missing time is literally there's a gap in your memory, and you look down, it's like 1 o'clock. You look back, it's 1:15, and you go, where'd that 15 minutes go? Well, that's the idea of missing time, and that's one of the things they introduce here. I don't remember if they play with it at all. I'll bring it up again if it comes up. In the end, we don't really get to see the aliens. They kind of get... You don't really see what happens. It's just like a guy goes out into the forest, there's a light, they disappear. That kind of thing. Sufficiently creepy, but again, it doesn't leave a lot for the agents to do because they can't really stop any of it. It does stop, however, so I guess they did something. But anyway, so this one's I gotta call this middle of the road, 5 out of 10. It's a decent episode. It's not bad. It's just I think this will be the bar for X-Files episodes. Stuff happening and whatnot that they can do stuff against, well, that's kind of confusing, I suppose, but suffice to say, 5 out of 10, Myth-Arc episode, check it out. If you don't like it, stick with at least the first season. Episodes do get better, although some of them I don't really think any of the episodes I can remember from the first season being really terrible, and I should note that all of this is rated on my own kind of personal feelings on the matter, not on any other grander intentions. All right, folks, tune in next time when we dig into the episode called Deep Throat, and it's not about porn. All right, folks, good